So I want to turn things over to Carlos Cordero, who's going to talk to us about Olean, the event. And here's what I'll say about Olean. Actually, I want to be careful not to take from Carlos's message. It is by far, when I think of my first 2 or 3 years, even now, but really the first 2 or 3 years of TLA, going to Olean is always one of the biggest highlights. That and the year-end awards night, which, by the way, they're coming up with even another new name for the awards night. You're gonna like it. Nope. To be determined. I want to turn things over to Carlos Cordero, who is virtually hubbing in from Tampa. And you know, it's interesting. The first time Orlando, Karina, could you please be quiet? Thanks. All right. What? I scared myself. You know when you're.
I've never seen him act Filipino.
Carlos was actually in his first year of TLA when I met him at Olean, and we talk about this funny story all the time. There was a chance where you get a chance. There was an opportunity to ask the president of Cutco, the chairman of the board, Mr. Jim Stitt, any questions you wanted. And I remember some girl from some division asked a really silly. You had one shot to ask him a good question, and that's your question. I don't remember what the question was, but I remember I saw this young, handsome Latino man over from Tampa, this young rep, and I remember looking at him, and he gave this face. He went, he got so physically angry at this girl, and his face showed what I felt. I remember thinking, what the hell would you ask that? I looked over and I said, oh, this guy knows. This guy knows. And little did I know that this guy knows would end up being someone who I became very close to and is now someone I'm very proud to represent on our district manager team. So Carlos is going to talk to you about the event, how it works, what you're going to get from it, and more importantly, how to sign up and get things rolling. And I'll wrap up as soon as he's finished with how to get out of finals, how to get out of school, how to get out of classes, and how to get yourself sponsored officially for the conference, okay? Carlos, I'm excited for you to share some thoughts. Here's what I want you to get out of this message. I want you to be able to write down at the end of this message the #1 thing that is going to be the biggest thing for you to get from the Olean event. That will cause you to fight when you're having a hard time getting out of class. That will cause you to fight when you need sales to pay for the conference. What is the one thing? And Carlos is here to share. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, get your snaps ready. In 3, 2, 1, Carlos Cordero. Carlos Cordero. Carlos Cordero.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You sound great.
Sound check. All right. Well, I'm excited to speak, and I'm excited to be the first speaker of the TLA prep after our awesome speech. By the way, I think Jeff deserves nice snaps himself for bringing the energy. You know, having realize it, but
I'm just snapping. Like, okay, sorry.
One of the most organized division manager in most clubs. So I'm excited to deliver and share with you about the Olean trip. So I know that if you're sitting at this table and if you're an NLG, it's probably 30 of you, you've been to Olean before. And I just always remember it being such a fun time. I'm going to walk you through like the experience, you know, so I'm kind of going to show you what you can expect. I'm also going to share some things about the factory. I'm going to talk about some things, what happens when we're there. We get to go to Canada, talk about that. And then I'll also share how you can fund yourself to go, which is pretty exciting because it is like a 4-day trip. So first of all, when I think about Olean, I think about like the Mecca. Right? I think about the pilgrimage that the Muslims take, to Mecca. And it's like one day, I don't know if you've studied Islam at all. I have a question. That person that is really like make a trip to like the homeland, you like touch a wall or pray like somewhere. But after you make that trip, it's like your official like that religion. And I think about when Cutco sales reps, it's like there's a lot of people that sell Cutco, and it's like, have you been to the factory? Have you seen the double D that get put on the knives? And it's crazy because I have friends that have my girlfriend for a long time. She was Muslim. And she said it, she's like, yeah, when people go, it's like their faith is so much deeper, and that's why they encourage like, the culture to all go to like and see. It's similar for a lot of religions, right? If you're Catholic or Christian, you go to like the Vatican and you see that. If you're Jewish, you'll go to like Jerusalem or something and see there's like a wall or something like that. But I think with Cutco, like Olean is that for us. It's like we go, and what's nuts is after you make the Olean trip, your average order goes up, your closing ratio goes up. You know, everything about the conviction of the job goes through the roof. So I'm gonna walk you through that experience. I think the first thing, right, the company flies you out, which is pretty sweet. So everyone's gonna link up probably here, like Tampa Bay Airport, and we're gonna get there like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. You know, you'll see people's like travel clothes. I think that's kind of a funny thing. Like, that's what you wear travel. Cool. That's what people. Why are you wearing a suit? But, so you see everybody's like travel attire. You see some people that pack like way too much. It's like for a week, and you see people that come with like a duffel bag. It's like, you're just bringing a toothbrush. You know, so I think that's the fun part of traveling like with your Cupco squad. You know, we landed in Buffalo, New York. So has anyone here been to Buffalo? It's cold. It is cold. So hopefully, if you haven't seen snow, you will see snow. Every year when we go, it hasn't snowed every year. It's probably snowed like 3 or 4 out of the 10 times I've been there. But it's really sweet because all Florida people are like, snow. So one year, and then it's funny because we travel unprepared. So we're wearing shorts, you know, we got like maybe a long sleeve shirt like in the back somewhere. So you get out and you're like, oh crap, it's even cold, like, and you're getting your back. So if you haven't been to New York, it's a fun time. So Buffalo is the home of the original Buffalo chicken. Buffalo. By the way, they're not really that special, but the original Buffalo wing is made there, which is cool. And there's the actual place is in the airport, so you can like gym where the Buffalo wings are invented, I guess. They invented those things. If you don't have cold clothes, get some cold clothes. You're gonna need some gloves, you're gonna need a jacket, and you're gonna need some closed-toed shoes to Florida factory. So there'll be like a list, a packing list before we go, so you'll know what to bring with you, so you won't be left out. I think about the first couple of days when you land, we go to the hotel and we stay on the American side of Niagara Falls. You can kind of walk to the falls. But the hotel's really sweet. Right across the way is like this massive casino that has like the most ridiculous buffet ever. So you'll see what I mean. And if you've been, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The buffet is amazing. So the first couple of days are meetings. It's kind of like a region-wide TLA. What I loved about my first role is like I got to scope out like who was my competition for grand students. So I got to scope out who's going to be my competition for district. You know, who am I going to see on the sales report this next summer, which is going to be pretty exciting. So it's a management prep, kind of like SC2, but it's focused mainly on getting set up for the winter break, getting set up for the holidays, making sure that you don't come back from Olean, because you come back and it's like in 3 weeks it's finals, and most of your friends are freaking out, but everyone that goes to Olean has the right perspective. They're like, okay, I've got my schedule planned out all the way until the classes are over. So they talk a lot about that. What I love about the conference is they announce where we're going on the winter break trip. So every year there's an awesome trip, like, you know, Cancun's in a couple of weeks, but over the winter break, all of you will have a chance to win all expenses, all-inclusive, tropical trip to either Mexico or, you know, the Caribbean, and it's amazing. We don't know where it is. None of us even know. I don't even think they tell the DVMs, because they probably leaked it, but no one knows until the conference, and they have this video, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, we're going back to Jamaica. And it's pretty sweet. So yeah,
What did he say?
So they announced the trip. That's really fun. Every message is given by either a high-level DM or it's by division manager. So it's like the best content to get you ready for the next year. What's really cool is at that point, you know, there's a lot of recognition for like letters of intent. There's a lot of recognition given to like who has over $1,000 to start. There's a lot of recognition given to people that are making big moves, and it's on a region scale, not just a divisional scale, which is pretty sweet. And you know, the top people were there. What I liked is I got to expand my circle of influence. It was cool because I went to SC2 and I saw some people from other offices, but I didn't really mess with them too much. So so, you know, you got, but in Olean, you get like actual downtime. You know, at SC2, it's like meeting, late night at 11 p.m. Great. You know, like Niagara Falls Olean trip, it's like meeting the first day, you know, there's some dinner and everyone kind of hangs out. People are more, you know, you kind of recognize, they'll recognize really, okay, these are like the TLAs of the entire Eastern region. Let me go get to know this person. Let me go get to know this person. People are more open, you know, to networking because they've been on the job a lot longer. It's not like SC2 where it's like those people. What's exciting is that night, you know, we can kind of hang out. You know, you get to check out the hotel. There's like a spa. If we're going to the same hotel, there's a spa. I had a slideshow of a picture of this, but I realized I'm going to be on Zoom, so you're the only ones who can laugh at this. But we found the spa after hours, and we realized you could just walk in because they don't close it. So there's a picture of like Luke and Brent and all these guys like were in there, like they like kind of borrow the robes and the shoes, and I don't know. It's like a cool experience. You get to like room the hotel. You can go to Canada. Canada's a walking distance away, so make sure you have a passport.
Or you won't get back.
Just Google search some facts about Canada, and you'll see why it's pretty exciting to go to Canada. So, anyway, so
good one, Carlos. Good one.
So here's some things about old Canada, right? Well, let's do that, right? So first of all, I think about Niagara Falls. Here's a couple. So we go to meetings for the first day, and then the next morning there's some breakfast, and then we have like free time from like 2 o'clock until the next day. So you actually have like a whole half day to explore Niagara Falls. We go and take like a division picture, and our squad is massive, and that's pretty cool. And you got the Niagara Falls behind you. So here's a couple facts about Niagara Falls. Did some research from the help of Luke Maseko. So it's the oldest state park. It was started in 1885. Kind of cool. 90% of fish that fall down the falls survive. 28 million liters of water fall per second. 28 million liters. I mean, 20% of the United States drinking water has gone over the falls. Isn't that crazy? And the first person to go over the falls was a 63-year-old teacher that went over the falls in a barrel. And last year, this kid didn't do his assignment for TLA, so they threw him off the falls. But jokes aside, like it's a beautiful, beautiful view. It's one of the six wonders.
8, 7.
There's 8 wonders in the world, or 7?
If you count M&T Stadium, home of the Baltimore Ravens, there are 9.
Well, you have 7 wonders in the world. There's 7, right? So yeah, and then the next day we go to the 8th wonder of the world, which is that, right? So
yeah.
Niagara Falls is going to be freaking awesome. Beautiful pictures and some beautiful falls, and see what I'm talking about. So there's 7. Okay, cool. And then right. So a couple other things about Canada. You need to have a passport for sure. So I don't understand how anyone will work in Cutco and expect to be here long term doesn't have a passport, because you are going to be leaving the country. At night we go to Canada. Oh yeah, the milk and cookies is actually 1990s. By the way, it's a pretty cool high level networking event. So we're gonna go to probably Boston's, or it's like this cool pizza place. It's like a Dave & Buster's. That's like a really cool place. There's also like the Ripley's Museum. So you're in Toronto, like so you'll see like the actual big thing that's on all Drake's like videos and pictures. You're like, oh wow, that's where you're from. Just got that stuff. Anyway, so you get to see that, which is cool. What's really sweet is usually Olean overlaps with some other regions. So I know last year the Northeast region, which northeastern part of the country, their Olean was like, I guess 1 or 2 days overlapped, and they had like a event. It was really sweet because Jeff's, I think, first pilot sales manager, Kate Arbuthnot, which is now Kate Bassey, which she's the division manager. She was there, and it was cool kind of seeing like Jeff's legacy and meeting other DMCs from other regions, and that was a pretty exciting time. So you get to network, with some downtime, with some pizza, and we get to have some fun and enjoy being in Canada. And for some of you, it'll be the first time you're in the country, and first of many times in the country, which is cool. What to do now? So I think about the next day, right? We wake up super early, and we get on buses. They have like, your breakfast. You got it's like grab breakfast and get on the bus, grab breakfast, go to the bus, and then you kind of either sleep on the bus over there, or you have rap battles on the bus. So we ride in the bus. It's like an hour-and-a-half trip to the factory. By the way, it's better that we stay in Niagara Falls. I heard some regions like stay in Olean, and it's like, what the heck do you do? And Olean is like tiny. There's like 8,000 people, maybe 10,000 people, the entire town. Last time I went, we some years we get to tour the factory. All of you will get to tour it, but if you're like a DM or been out for a long time, you can only take a certain number of people to the factory. So one year we didn't go to the factory. We had meetings and stuff. It was pretty sweet. But last time I got to tour the factory, I heard that there was like somewhere around 1,000 people work there, and there's 10,000 people in town. So it's like 10% of the town like works there. Yeah. You're going to meet people that have worked for Cutco for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, all year long. And you'll get like selfie videos with them. By the way, take a ton of pictures so you can add them to your cool book. They'll show you how like the new expansions of the factory. It's like, okay, this section was added like 5 years ago. This section is pretty new. They show you from the wood blocks to the beads that the wedge-lock handle, like how they melt the beads into the wedge-lock handle. They'll show you how they stamp the steel. If you build some rapport, you're good to build rapport. Let's play with some of the machines. Don't quote me, but they might let you play with some machines. So there's some cool machines there. It's kind of dangerous, but kind of cool. They give you this really nerdy glasses and goggles. You have to wear closed-toed shoes. You have to make sure your hair's off. You have to walk around the factory to check everything out. My favorite part is the packaging section because they let you like vacuum seal stuff if you have anything in your pockets. So I vacuum seal my cell phone, wallets, everything. So when it comes out, it's like, whoa. You're open pockets, got like, yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. Just like so that's pretty fun. My second favorite part is to get to go check out field service. Have any of you ever called the field service ladies, like, because you had an order pending, or they called you? You're like the nicest ladies ever in person. I thought it was just over the phone because you can't see everyone. In person, it was nuts. Like you can walk through it, and I guarantee someone's gonna do this. They're gonna pull out their phone and call field service and be like, there's always someone that does that, and yeah, now there's gonna be a lot. So, anyways, you get to check out field service. You also, that night is the push countdown. So they wait to do the push countdown in Olean in front of Jimstead. In front of John Welby, which most of you are like, you don't even look at your commission statements, you don't know what I'm talking about. That's a guy that signed the checks. He's the CFO, Director of Marketing. So he's there, Jimstead's there, there's some Olean faculty staff there, and that's where they do the push countdown. I'll tell you this, you will remember the lasagna. I said lasagna, is like, oh yeah. So the lasagna is fire. It's gonna be a great time. Good meals.
I have to make a comment. You guys have still said this every freaking year, and I always go, that is, and Carlos, I'm going to say. I remember even Luke said this last year, and everyone was like, oh, and the lasagna. Like, that is the dumbest caca pupa mierda. That's stupid. Like, the lasagna is that good. I finally had it, and, I haven't had it in a while, and what I found out is that the Stitz, who own Cutco, there is this really amazing Italian family that has this super Italian rest is history type restaurant, and they're from Naples, Italy, and they moved, and somehow they ended up in Olean, New York, blah 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 blah. So apparently this is like a city renowned type of Italian restaurant, and lasagna is that memorable. I just want to vouch for it. It is. I don't know what it is. It's like the sauce and the meat. So I'm gonna have to be the judge. It is worth going to Olean just for the lasagna. Maybe not just for the lasagna, but close. Close. Okay, go ahead, Carlos. Sorry.
And don't worry, they have a vegan option. I was kind of skeptical.
Oh, it might be better.
I always remember like the push countdown because it's very exciting, like not just the office push, but I think about the individual pushes because 80 to 90% of people are pushing are just like you, and they're in classes, they're finding a way to make it happen. And it's really cool seeing people step up in front of the CEO, in front of the owners of Vector Marketing. They'll usually give like a presidential address, and that's when they have the question and answer, which I don't know if they still do that because people ask. So, but anyway, it's a really fun night, and then at the end of the night, we get on our buses, we head back home, and the next day is a flight out. So the dates, if you don't have the dates, make sure you write these down. It's November 10th through 13th. So it is a Saturday. We fly out Saturday morning, and we will be flying back Tuesday. We'll be back Tuesday at something. So you'll get a letter, which is to get out of class. It's probably in the file of folders right now. And anything, by the way, is negotiable. You got to understand that in college, it's a hierarchy system of how to get out of exams and finals. By the way, in TLA, all 5 years of school finals, right? All 5 years of school. And
of course.
Bye, Carly.
No, I got it.
Sad.
So just remember that. So what to do now here's the one thing you gotta remember, you gotta realize, if you expect to be a manager, or if you're going to be a manager in the 49th division next year, like you go to Open. So it's a matter of you're definitely going, so make sure that you take care of any of those conflicts now. And everything's negotiable, like I was saying. So the keys are like, be a good student, right? Make sure you're getting to know your professors. Have you introduced yourself yet? Say, hey, nice to meet you. I also have this internship that I'm doing. I'm really excited about it. Here's some dates that I have that kind of conflict. How can we work around this so both parties are happy, right? And then you can get them the letter, and you go from there. So anyway, the way it works, right? So we're talking like hotel, we're talking flight, we're talking most of the food. They get some lunch for me too, like every member. So we're talking all that stuff. In the past, every year that I went, it was $1,100 to go. Right, $1,100, and the way it would work is you had to sell homemaker plus 8. As long as you sold homemaker plus 8, you went for free. Okay. What's cool is they've actually lowered the price. It's only $850 to go to Olean now. So the way it works is you sign up, and they just charge. The biggest key is to sign up early, like now, because the charges are the smallest, like $45 to $50 on a weekly charge that you'll see until you sell either a homemaker plus 8. And I think you can give up to the kitchen tools and the shears for free. And that's going to be 100%. So the next homemaker you sell, you're just going to write in the special instructions, Olean homemaker, right? And you won't get paid commissions on it, but your trip will be for free. Okay? So like whatever, you're 30%, and you sell $1,000 over, you're $330. So that pays for your entire trip. So instead of paying $850, you'll pay $330, and then that's pretty good. Okay? So that's how it works. Or check this out, they also let you sell a galley set, a basic galley. Come on, who the hell buys a basic galley? You can sell that. It's only $155 a month. You can sell that, and that'll go. You can go on the trip for half the price. Or you can sell a basic galley, and then they also have the essentials plus 5. So if you sell an essentials plus 5, you can also write Olean essentials plus 5, and that will cover 50% of those charges for you. So the way it works is, I always signed up as soon as the sign up opened on Vector Connect. I signed up, and then as soon as you sell a homemaker, so some of you will sell it like this week, some of you're off at school, and hey, that's something you're going to do over Thanksgiving break or winter break, or hell, do some virtuals. Once you get that sold, all of those charges, like if it's like $50 a week or whatever, it all gets returned to you. So it's kind of like getting a bonus check. So that's why you always sign up as early as possible, because once you sell the set, you get all that money given back to those charges. So it's like getting a bonus. So that's how it works. There's investment options. What you gotta do now is just go to Vector Connect and sign up. So you got a computer, I'll just knock that out. Gamboa, if there's anything you want to add or any clarity on the sign up process, let me know. But you just basically sign up with your name, your birthday, your address. Just sign up on Vector Connect. Pretty easy.
Yeah, I'm gonna chime in. Thank you. Can we snatch for Carlos, please? Snatch for Carlos.
Any questions, I guess, or any takeaways or add-ons?
Yeah, let's do some quick takeaways. I'm gonna review the process.
Cool. So you have until the day after Christmas to sell your set. And if you don't think you can sell a homemaker, a basic galley, or an essentials plus 5 between now and December 26th, how the hell do you expect to be manager? Think about that. So,
yeah.
All right. Awkward silence. Cool. So that's what I got. If there's any questions, ask away. And if not, I don't even think they can hear me. So.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear me? No, Carlos. Hold on. Carlos, can you hear me?
Sir, I can.
Okay, let me log off this one here. Okay, so let me just cover quickly the way that it works. If you open up your folders, open up the Olean folder. And those of you that don't have a laptop and are just looking at your notebook, this is why it sucks and you can't run a business without a laptop.
Olean message?
Yeah, it says first of all. And you guys can hear me. You guys can hear me over there? So I'm going to put this on the screen. Take a look. Listen up. Hold on. The first document is getting out of finals, okay? So district managers, I'm going to have you add to your list for Wednesday's prep, making sure you cover how to address and how to get out of finals for Olean. So I'll put out of finals. Okay. This is what I want to open up here. Okay, everyone take a look at the screen. I'm going to share screen here in 3, 2, 1. Everyone see that? Okay. So you have this. All you have to do is print this out. Eyes up on the TV. So I have it for you guys. Put this in your blue book. The way that it works, the cost of the event is $850. I just want to help you understand the process. There's $850, which pays A, flight to New York. Has anyone flown to New York? Raise your hand if you've flown to New York. That's New York City, which is a popular hub.
Sure.
We're flying to Buffalo, which is a little bit more north, so it's a little farther, which means what? It's a little more expensive. What's your round trip flight to New York City? $300-400. Okay, so add on like call it $50 more.
And that's during the off season.
Yeah, and that's off season. This is peak season travel. Okay, so you're talking. I don't know the prices right now. You can look it up yourself. It also includes Friday night stay, Saturday night stay, Sunday night stay, and Monday night stay. You have 4 hotel nights. I'm sorry, 3. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. What's a hotel room cost? Probably with a massive group discount per night. 1 to 150, right? On the high end, 2 to 250, times 4. So what are we at already? We're already at 800 just from that. What do we forget? Food, meals for 3 days, and hotel costs. So here's how you do it. Take a look. If you sell a homemaker plus 8 between now and that time period, when you enter this homemaker and under special instructions, you'll put down only in homemaker. When you sell it, you will not get commission off of this. Okay, so you might be in a contest. You might say, nah, I'm not gonna, I want this only in for my contest. So put it for your contest. Or you can say, I'll sell my only in homemaker, which means your trip is already paid for. A homemaker pays the full $850. A basic galley pays half of it. An essentials plus 5, believe it or not, pays half of it. You can also sell a basic galley and an essentials and combine it to pay for the full. You guys see that? And this is a lot easier than the way it used to be. It used to be 11 to 12. Maggie, you remember this? It used to be almost $1,200 to go. An additional $400. And what they would do is, if you didn't sell the homemaker, you would get a homemaker sent to you because you essentially paid for it. Right? Now it's cheaper and it's way easier to sell and earn the trip and get it paid for. Okay. Any questions? And so when you sign up for it, okay. We're not going to take the time now for sake of not going more behind on time. But by district managers, I'm going to have you, Karina, if you could post on the DM page. DMs, please have your TLA candidates during the break sign up for Olean. If you have any questions or concerns, okay, I need you to text your district manager during the next break. If you don't, then just go ahead and sign up. You guys understand what I'm saying? You can actually go to Vector Connect right now. It's no different than the other 2 conferences you've signed up for. You go from there. Any questions? Okay, so this is already in your blue book. Also, yeah. Yes, sir.
So senior branch managers getting recognized in Olean at all?
Yes, there's going to be, before I announce that, let me get clarity so I don't over-promote. So,
okay. Yeah,
there's going to be something special for district managers and returning branches, but let me, before I say something, I have to pull it back because we discussed this at the DVM meeting. So, good point. Thanks, Mike. Cool. Let me put, okay, I'm going to put in my notes. Also, open up document number 3 in the Olean folder. This is pretty killer. Okay. Hey, Mike, can you see this document when I put it on to the screen?
Yeah.
Beautiful. I figured out how to do this. Good. Thank you, David. So pretty straightforward. It's in Word, and if you were a guy, you change her to him, and vice versa. Get it? You laugh, but there are people there are professors that say, I will not accept this letter because clearly it is copy and paste because it says her and it is a he. I've had that once. So just attention to detail here, folks. When is it? And on Wednesday, you're going to read through the document on how to get out of finals. The short story is start talking about it now. Tell your professors, and I'm going to say this respectfully. I don't care what sport you play, what school you go to. If I can get people out of Division I sports, soccer and football to be exact, and if I can get people out of Ivy League school, Princeton, Rob Lindsay from my Baltimore office went to Princeton, played lacrosse for them. Okay, if I can get people out of those big time schools for an Olean event, we can get them out of anything. But you have to do it the appropriate way with our help if you need it. Okay, so this is a letter. It's a corporate document, if you will. Any questions on that? Pretty straightforward. Okay, and then the last document is the actual sign up. But this is on Vector Connect. So this is what the trip is, what's covered. You get the round trip airfare, all the meals at the Sheraton for the Niagara Falls, bus transfers, and of course all the paperwork and meeting space. Okay. Speaking of Ivy League, what's up? Harvard. Okay. If you sign up by the 13th, the charges will be $58 a week. Let me explain. Carlos explained this. Let me do it one more time. They will charge you $58 a week, which is exactly, dividing up $875 divided by how many weeks until Olean, okay, or through the rest of the year. They will continue to charge you until you just submit your Olean Homemaker Galley or Essentials, and they will refund you the money that you don't need to pay immediately. Okay, so the sooner you sell the product, the faster it gets reimbursed. Why do you think we do it this way? The same way we have a 5 paid for a customer. Why do I have a 5 paid for a customer? Yeah, it's more affordable. It's easy to break it down. $58 a week. If $58 a week is stressing you, you need to pick up your kit more. Seriously, right? You need to stop. Stop going out on the weekends and start going into Phone Jam. I was trying to think of something funny. I think that was fairly good. Okay, so far so good. Okay, I want to thank Carlos for sharing that. I want to turn things over now before we go to our next break. I want to turn things over to Mr. Mike Abramowitz, and then when we go to break, again, districts will facilitate a group sign-up. Any questions on Olean before I roll? Beautiful. So personal recruiting. Take a look at the agenda real quick. You can take notes directly on it if you need to. What Mike is going to do, and I'm right on the board here so that you guys can follow along what he's doing. Mike, are you using the board or are you using your keynote?
Yeah, I want to. Well, where's the next?
I can mute everyone, but go ahead.
So I'll probably be.
Oh wait.
The way our
I can't hear you. Let me unmute you.
So, yeah.
All right, I got you. One more time, Mike. I didn't catch what you said on the writing. Are you writing?
Right on a whiteboard over here. It's on this way.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to put you on the big screen. David, do you know how I can get that other screen that went up here? I lost it.
Screen share and then pick which desktop.
What's that?
Screen share?
No, I just want to get it so it has an extra window where I can look like when Carlos was speaking. No.
Well, it's like,
Hold on.
this is pretty good. Yeah.
I guess I can do that, but do you know what I'm talking about? Sometimes 2 windows pop up.
No, they can see it actually besides this right here.
Okay, Mike, I'm going to give you a proper introduction. 2 seconds here. It would have this, which is the speaker view with my center console, and they would have a separate one. Whoever's speaking showed up on that window, but it went away. You know, do that.
Okay. Could you move the screen over to the side?
I can do that, but that's not what I'm trying to do. Okay. So I'm going to turn things over to Michael. I really want to thank Michael for being here, because Michael is, and as is Carlos, and as is Jackson and David, helping to facilitate this. You know, Mike, in the last 2 summers, has really changed his business for the better. And it's really from a big part of it is his personal growth. The technical side of it is this guy has understood and now capitalized on the power of personal recruits. So what Mike's going to take you through, this might be one of those, and Andrew and I were talking about this. When you go through TLA, you learn things, and then all of a sudden you come 8 months later and you don't apply. Right? Work ethic and application, we talked about that earlier. This is the #1 program where if I could say, you can forget all the details of everything we cover, except for how to think, right? Like mental fortitude. Outside of that, you can forget everything. If you get this, you're going to have a chance at a really nice summer. And that's why I want Mike today to cover the A to Z, cover A to Z's. This is one of those YouTubes you'll want to watch over and over again between now and next summer, this specific talk. So I have Mike over from our Clearwater office to take us through the personal recruiting program. And on a personal note, it's been really cool to see Mike run a business, not as a college student, as a college grad, but as a grown-ass man. It's really cool as an adult. He's adulting while running a Cutco office. And I'm really proud to see him as he's now going into, how many years of marriage now? How long have you been married now, Mike?
Our total will be our 1-year anniversary.
That's right. I was thinking that 1-year anniversary of Mike getting married, and it's just awesome to see. My prayer and dream is that all of our district managers are with us as long as possible, raising families, and we'll have to have your automatic 20 matrix points when you babysit one of our kids. So that kind of deal. That'll be kind of fun. But mine will be the handful for sure. Mr. Mike Abramovitz, I applaud you. I appreciate you. And I turn things over to you to talk about personal recruits. Snaps up for Mike Abramovitz in 3, 2, alternating. 1, go. All right, Mike, you're up, man.
All right, you can hear me okay?
I can. You're up.
Okay, excellent. So as far as what we're going to discuss, as far as PRs A to Z, we all know the power of PRs. Most of you are personal recruits. I don't want to spend a lot of the time like selling you on why personal recruits are important and why they matter. I really would like to spend a little bit more of our time like on technical aspects, like how to generate recruits, how to execute, and some fundamentals to the phone approach. And this will be a good review for my people. We just did this at one of our local preps, and you all have done it at your local preps, but kind of walk through. So first and foremost, as far as power PRs, I went and did just like an overall analysis. Our average recruit, just general recruit, non-PRs, the average productivity, if you do some math, they sell about $500 first weekend. They sell about $1,000 for their fast start. They sell about $2,000 overall, non-PR recruits. Well, for some of the offices that that I went and did some research on, you're talking like a Metro Miami is upwards of $3,000 average, so it's about double. There's some offices like Chesapeake, $5,000 productivity per rep on for their PRs, personal recruits. Even like Aventura, you know, with almost a $3,000 plus productivity, 3,500 productivity for their personal recruits, and the efficiency is even more impressive of what it takes for them to get out of training. Ready? Brian Hurlman's organization in Fairfax, Virginia, an average Craigslist web type of recruit, it takes approximately 20 of them to schedule, sometimes 25, maybe even 30 or 40, depending on the organization you're part of. So to get 30 to schedule an interview to 1 out the door with a sample kit. Something along those lines. Fairfax in Brian Hurlman's office, 4.9 to 1 PRs. So for every 4.9 people they set up for interviews, 1 of them launched out the door with a sample kit. And ready, even more exciting, is they sold on average about $3,500 on average.
Versus 3K in Metro. Oh, Metro's up there. Versus
and this, by the way, this stat is only off of the ones managers set up. This isn't from a conveyor. This isn't from like anything that's like systemized. This is just from the PRs that managers set up. I just want to make that crystal clear. So there are other like outliers. You get some scoop ups from conveyor that's kind of out of our control. The data that I found was simply the ones that was in our control, the ones that we actually set up.
Yeah, and I wanna chime in here. We have a nickname for that. Next level, what do we call it when a manager sets the PR personally? We call it fire number. So I want you to get that in your notes. I want you to get that vocabulary. Fire number. Okay?
So the pilot, Fort Lauderdale this summer, the ones that you guys set up had a $3,900 PPR. $3,900.
Hell yeah, that's what saved our summer.
From the ones that managers set up. In Clearwater, we had a 3,000 PPR 3066 on Naples. Ready? They had a 4-to-1 efficiency. 4-to-1, and it was a 5,100 PPR.
Yeah, that's it. That, yeah.
So the reason why I bring this up is because it's not only is it more efficient, and not only do they sell more Cutco, but it's in our control. Like there's no waiting. Like hopefully we get good people. If you want to think about it, is like if you're running a restaurant and you know there's certain people that are going to give a really good tip, and then there's certain people that are might not give that good a tip. Like you know the ones that are going to give the good tips on the PR, just like selling Cutco. You know the customers that are going to give you more likely to give you a larger sale or offer a larger sale, and then the ones that are not. Obviously, you want to replicate your best ones. That's PR. So I don't need to spend too much time. I feel like I don't need to spend too much time unless Jeff, you want me to hit on something else.
No, I did. Does anyone have any questions or feedback or next level group or those of you that ran an office want to chime in? Because we could stop here, and I think we're not. We could stop here, and you got value from Mike. Right? If I told you when you cut, minus Amy Rod, when you cut the rope with the Perry knife, you'll probably get less sales than if you cut it with the petite carver because you're meant to use the petite carver in the demonstration. Okay, that wasn't an inside joke. It's true. Like Amy, so okay, right? If I told you that, if I said, "Oh, ready?" Actually, statistics show when you show all the white homemaker pieces, but you show the black petite carver. I'm just making this up. This is just for fun. You will sell statistically $400 more and get a 70% versus a 60% close ratio. Wouldn't you show the white pieces and the black petite carver? Yes, or yes, or yes, or absolutely. Absolutely. What Mike just did so, not even eloquent, he just looked it up on the numbers. And he just pulled some really, this is what smart business people do. They pull pertinent data from the Midwest. They pull data, okay? Pertinent data to show you that if you just have a rep, that is not, I'm showing the number up here. Sorry for the YouTubers. And Mike, thank you for this. This is beautiful. For the non-personal recruits, when someone comes in through Craigslist or through a mail, or not a mail, Craigslist and most non-PRs, they're selling on average about half their promotion the first weekend, and they'll sell about 2,000 total. In Florida United, they usually sell between 2 and 2,500. That's one of the best in the company. When it is a personal recruit, it doubles and in some cases almost triples the production. Look at Naples, right? So if I were, and this is the biggest light bulb I got, Mike, not only is it more efficient, not only do they sell more, but it's in what? Is our control. And that is the most beautiful thing, because when you run a business, there are so many things that are not in our control. So what's the difference between a manager who gets this program and who doesn't? If it's in their control and they can get big results, but it's up to them, what's the difference between performing and not performing? Application, execution, work ethic. Lazy won't get it, hardworking will get it. That's what I love about this program. If you're a grinder and you know how to work hard and you apply what we're teaching you, you don't have to be the most talented. You will get that result versus that result every time. And I can tell you what's great about Brian Hurlman. He's got work ethic and he knows how to apply. That's why he went to a territory from scratch, did $1 million in sales this summer. Really impressive. Okay, Mike, thanks for setting the tone. Let's roll.
Cool. All right, so as far as recruiting funnel, all right, so now the question is like, how do we get PRs? What's the process look like? How do we get someone out the door? So it starts with touches. So the touches at the top of the funnel. So it's touches, and then there's some other stuff in between here, and if Jeff wants me to talk about it, I can. But essentially, then we have the ones we accept/sign. So we accept them for the position. So touches, we accept them, we sign them for the position. Or I'm sorry, let me. So touches.
Actually, Mike, what I'll do, let me put the handout on the screen, and you can also write at the same time.
The ones that I care about most: touches, set for interview, then sign/accept that we accept the position, and then the launch out of training.
Okay, I'm putting it on the screen. I'll put on the keynote right now.
So,
One sec. All right, can you see it?
all right. Oh, by the way, I just want to make a point. I just looked up the region stats. I stand corrected. It's not 2,000 productivity per rep for this summer for web, Craigslist, non-PRs. You ready for a crazy statistic?
What about Mila Vaughn? Ready? Go ahead. Wait.
So web productivity is 686 total. Craigslist is 180 total. But this is for the whole eastern region. This isn't for one particular office. And mailers, 795 total for productivity per rep.
Mailers are letters that get sent to people. Okay.
Oh, let me wait. Let me make sure it's that way. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong report. My bad. That was alarming.
Mailers are higher.
Yeah, let me update this report. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
It's loaded.
Mike, as you do this, Andrew's got a comment. I want to say, can you guys see my television? Can you see the funnel on the TV? Mike and Tallahassee, do you guys see the funnel on the TV?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm just drawing it again. What Mike is showing is how do we create recruits? When he says 4 to 9 to 1, 30 to 1, ready? Visually, I want you to see this. What he's saying is, how many of these touches, top of the picture, do you need to get one Cutco rep? So what he's saying is, for Craigslist, 30 of those people need to be set for an interview from the text message center to get a Cutco rep or to get someone for an interview. What we're saying is that with personal recruits, it's way easier to get people into the door through this funnel and launch them. That's what we're saying. Okay, Mike, we'll go to Andrew and then Mike.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I was just
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm better. I'm better, guys.
Oh, you're great. You're perfect.
Okay.
You're perfect the way you are.
And PR was 2326. Okay, sorry about that. So the accurate numbers, just so you can see, web is 1,300 that they sell. Craigslist is 518. Mailers is 1,400. PRs are 2,300. That's from the whole region, just to kind of give you an idea. And it takes 11 to 1 for PRs, and Craigslist is 134 to 1. Web is 42 to 1. Mailers is 20 to 1. I'll take a picture of this.
Let me see where he goes.
All right, but anyway. So you guys can see the funnel that's on the screen. I'm just going to talk about 4 numbers. The 4 numbers that I care about most as a district manager is how many touches, how many get set up for an interview, how many you sign, and how many you launch. So the number that I'm not going to talk about essentially is the only one is the cap that's in the middle there.
So if you look at it, he's going to talk about what schedule means.
And then the show to training. So cap, sign, show to training. I'm essentially just kind of combining all of those for this talk specifically, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, Mike, is it? Are you going to go there, or should I just cover what those terms all mean first? You're going to do all that.
I was going to do that, but
Beautiful.
I was going to do just these 4. But
Okay, that works. Go for it.
all right. So a touch is essentially anyone that's like a possible recruit. A touch is anyone that touches your office. So A touch would be like a name and a phone number. That's essentially what we call a touch. Okay, a name and a phone number. I'll talk about specific in just a moment. Set for an interview, so schedule.
Mike,
So
can I add one term? A term that I always use, I think will help. A touch is an inquiry for the job.
Go.
A touch is an inquiry for the job, and he'll talk about different ways people can inquire. A touch is an inquiry for the job. Go ahead.
So then from there, as far as schedule, that just got set for an interview. When you get scheduled for an interview, I call it set, scheduled, same thing. Show is how many show up for the interview. So it's how many actually showed up for the interview. Then you got kept and signed. Kept is how many you, they showed up and you actually ran the interview for them. Signed is how many you hired for the position.
Okay.
Then the other show is show to training. And then launch means you gave them a sample kit. The numbers I care about the most, how many did we set up for interviews? How many did you sign? And how many do you launch out of training? Those are the numbers I care about.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a picture of this, or actually Alexa Wells is gonna take a picture of this. Yeah, real quick. I want to review this. Andrew made a good point. I want to make sure you guys understand all these terms. Picture of this, and I'll explain each one. So the picture's going to go into
the whole board or just the funnel?
Just right here, just the funnel. This will help set Mike's talk. Mike, thank you so much for all this. And once you
do you want to do that now, or you want me to continue?
No, I'm going to do that now real quick, so everyone processes. And if they have any questions, and then Mike can go on with the rest. I want to make sure you guys get these terms. These words are the parallel and equivalent of a rep. Hey, so do you understand your closing? What does that mean? Page 8 and 9, right? What's your rec approach? Page 16, right? Oh, make sure you do your names and uses. Make sure you build rapport. You guys know all those terms mean, right? Hey, make sure when you go from the yucky knife page to the value page, you say the word sets a lot, because sets builds. Like all those terms, like, oh yeah, that makes sense. These are the same terms, but for recruiting. And you will learn these very quickly. Just the same way in the first day of training, you don't remember all these terms, but now you do. It's the same way with management. So Lex, did you already post it?
Yeah.
So everyone open up the picture real quick. If you need to take notes on your computer or write notes on your paper to clarify, let me take 30 seconds. So at the very top, notice the funnel, like an oil funnel. When you're changing an oil, it gets smaller at the bottom. What does that replicate? What does that show? It shows that it takes a lot to get what? A little, or one. It takes a lot to get one. So a touch is when people apply. It's an inquiry. Okay? So ready? If they get a letter, they see it in the newspaper, they see it on the advertising, they get a Facebook message, their personal recruit, their name got recommended, they saw Triple Threat and applied on Snapchat. They went to a fair and they got a business card. They saw a sign. Where did you see a sign? Outside of a school, and there was a big yellow sign with black letters. Thank goodness we put that sign. We call it on-campus poster, OCP. However, that is a touch. If you're with me, give me a thumbs up if you're with me. Okay, cool. All right. Schedule. Okay, so people have to apply. Then the managers or conveyor have to schedule them. Let me explain what that means. I'll put manager or conveyor. Manager is a person. I'll put a smiley face. Manager is when we set either an assistant manager, a receptionist, like a receptionist, or we're going to call them recruiting assistants, but essentially a receptionist who either was a rep that's helping you make calls, an assistant manager that's making calls, or someone you hire off of an ad to take calls. Or a conveyor, which is the program that texts people for us. That's all it is. Okay, so far so good. If you're with me, give me a thumbs up or wiggle it. No, that's the next one. Just thumbs up, wiggle it. The dance is next. So far so good? Tally, let me see it. Okay. So schedule means I went through the phone approach or the conveyor texted them, and they said, yes, I'll come in for an interview. So I'll put down here, they said yes. I volunteer. Right? Okay. But so people can say yes, like, I don't know, to a demo, and still what? Not show up. So the show means they showed up to the interview. Okay? It's pretty self-explanatory. Give me a thumbs up, wiggle it, and shake a little bit. Yeah? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Michael?
Yeah, I for hub right here. I mean, I'm looking around, and the faces are saying, like, the thumbs are up, but the faces are either saying, "I got this. This is like really overly simple," or the faces are saying, "You kind of lost me." So I just wanted to just.
Yeah, I can do it again. Or.
Well, so just because we see the funnel and we can't really see what you're writing on the board.
Oh, okay. How about this?
So I don't know if that would help.
Is that
but
better?
I just wanted to give
I
my
sent it in
hub
the
here
group
a
chat.
chance to. Like,
Yeah, but if we have it's on the picture in the group chat right now.
It's in the group chat.
So I just see faces, I see disengagement, I see phones out, I see other stuff that are.
Maybe your hub needs to pay more attention. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Are they? You guys get
And
it?
Yeah.
that's why I'm calling them out. I'm calling them out.
Oh, sorry. I like
Yeah.
it. Me like you.
Mhm.
Me like you. Mike say.
So I just want to bring you all in, so that way we're not just wasting our time. You know, like we're here to get value, and I just want to make sure that that this makes sense. Because if it doesn't make sense, no big deal. Like we'll make sure it makes sense, but like I don't want disengagement to take place.
Yeah, good, Mike. Thank you. What a good hub leader. My hub.
So are there anything that is either unclear? Like this would be the chance to, or if it's
Stop
like,
messing
Mike, this is
around,
like, oh,
boys.
I got this. I can't tell the difference in the facial. Everyone says it's overly simple. All right. So everyone says it's overly simple. I got it here.
Good.
Okay, so we're over-explaining them. Okay.
Good. I like it. No, I'd rather over-explain. Okay. Good. And this will be the. I'll only do this like a million times. Okay. Show means they show the interview. Kept means based on our. We'll teach it, and Karina will cover this, and we'll cover this the next few weeks. Kept means they showed to an interview. We decided to keep them for the group interview. Okay. Sign is another word for hire, but we can't say hire because we don't have employees. We have independent contractors. So long story short, sign means they said, yes, I'm coming to train. Okay, they agreed to come to train. Show means they're there. Launch means they finished training. Okay, so give me a thumbs up, wiggle it, shake a little bit, and give me some attitude. Yeah, okay, that was a good one. Next. Okay, Mike, I'm hopefully setting you up, and I'm hopefully getting an engaged group. Go for it. Thank you for that.
Good over here now? Yes. All right.
All right.
So now that we understand these, the terminology and whatnot, I want to focus on before I'll help you know how much control we have on creating the touches and how do we set them up for interviews in an efficient way to get them out the door and launch them. So that's essentially what I want to do because as assistant managers, as branch managers, as district managers, let's face it. The number one way to sell more Cutco is by what? Doing more demos. Getting more appointments set up is the number one way. You could be a kick-butt sales rep. You could be a kick-ass trainer with Cutco and launch them out the door and do an awesome job teaching them how to sell Cutco. But if we're not getting phone numbers to call and we're not getting them to show up for their interview, then it doesn't matter how good of a trainer we are. So we want to start at the top of the funnel, and that's essentially the message that I'm delivering for you today. So let's talk about how to create these touches. I sent a picture to the TLA group. There's so many different ways to create the touches. I think there's maybe Andrew's going to hit on this a little bit, but I'll just talk about it just briefly. We did a brainstorm session as a staff, local staff, of all the different ways for us to create PR touches. Snap takeovers with current team members, campus tables, clipboarding, interview PR names. Now, an interview PR name is at the end of the interview. They write down a list of people that they thought might be a good fit for the job. There'll be an interview PR name. Training PR name. So here's what happens. Day one of training, at the bottom of the welcome sheet, there's 3 spots for them to write down a couple of people. Those are almost the same as interview PR names. On day 2 of training, they will submit an average of about 150 of their friends that all of us did for the job. So that's a day 2 PR name. Then you have, that's a training PR name. Then you have Facebook messaging, direct Facebook messaging, sending 50 a day, 4 times a week, 5 times a week, and we get responses from that. Then we have Instagram messages, which is what we're starting to dabble with as well now as a division. Then you have Snap messages on day 2. So that's a direct message on Snapchat, sending them to like a Google form, getting interest that way. That creates touches. Then we have rep driven. On advanced training. You probably remember where you passed the phone, you got your friend on the phone and passed the phone to your manager. That's rep driven. That's advanced training. Then we have triple threat. That creates touches. You probably remember doing this every single week. Team meeting, triple threat. Post it up there. That creates touches. Classroom emails. That creates touches. And also writing on the chalkboard on your school. That creates touches. So these are all different ways that we came up with that we can actually create inquiries for the position. There might be one or two more that we missed, like putting the OCP, like a sign out, but we can't set those up. Those are automated. So I don't care about the ones that are automated. I care about the ones that we can actually do something with. And this list is where we can get those names and phone numbers to actually set them up for interviews.
Yeah, Mike, I'm writing this up real quick. I'm gonna post this to everyone.
I posted a picture of my notes in our group that has this all listed. It's not very neat. But
I got it. So Snapchat takeovers, okay. Campus tables, that's where you set up a table on a campus and advertise the work. Clipboard. Did you explain clipboard?
I didn't explain it, but essentially when you have people, you go, this is what clipboard looks like. I'll just act it out real quick. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt. I know you're probably eating lunch and whatnot, but I'm with workforstudents.com. Do you happen to know anyone who maybe possibly might be looking for cash ground classes? Maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you think? You're right. By the way, I'm Mike. Hey, nice to meet you. What's your best friend's name? Sarah? Let me actually, why don't you put Sarah's name and number down on the clipboard right here? I'll have someone reach out to her. We're filling some positions right now. That's essentially what clipboarding looks like.
Yep. Then okay, everyone got that? And how many of you have already done this before? A couple of you have already done this, okay. Then there's also, I'm just writing this up, and we'll take another picture. Interview PR names. That means at the end of the interview. Got it?
Yeah, I explained all of the other ones.
Yep, I got it. Okay, good. All right, we're good. Thank you.
Classroom email. I didn't explain that one. Classroom email is if you have access to a Blackboard or Canvas or something like that, where you can send an email out to your classmates, letting them know that, hey, I don't know what you're up to, but talk to your district manager about the approaches and whatnot.
Cool. Perfect.
Good. All right, let's move. Those are all the ways to create touches as far as recruiting funnel. What I want to talk about is setting people up for the interview, because that's where we influence it the second mode. We influence it, number one, creating those touches. That's that guerrilla marketing. That's some of the most valuable skill that you can bring to any business you're going to work in, whether it's here or elsewhere. But setting them up for interviews in an effective, efficient way, that's where I want to spend the majority of the rest of my time that I have with you today. So as far as the approach itself, so if you wouldn't mind putting the PR approach on the screen, that would be helpful. What I want to do is I just want to break down the approach into different sections. You guys can help me here if you want, but there's different sections of the PR script. I know I just reviewed this with my local TLA, and I want to make sure that I review it with the divisional TLA. That we're on the same.
Yep. Give me 2 seconds, and I will put it up.
Everyone that's pulling it up, even if you just know it from memory, or if you were at my local prep, the first part of the approach. What's the first part of the approach? The most important part of the beginning part of the approach is to what? Josh? The most important part of the entire approach is connection. That's the most important part of people don't set up to come in for an interview because they got a lot of information. They come in to set up an appointment for an interview because they felt a connection with the person that they were talking to, and we engaged them in interest. We created an interest. So I would write that down. The number one objective of the approach is to create interest. Yep. How do you create interest? You do that through connection. So that, in my opinion.
You don't want the approach?
You'd rather have me? Okay, put me on the screen, it's fine. So everybody else can have their approaches. So the number one thing is connection. How do you get connected? Or number one thing is interest. How do you create interest is through connection. So the first part of the approach where it says, hi, Zach, this is Mike Brown with Vector. How are you? Good. Yada, yada, yada. What we want to do in the beginning part of the approach, what do we want to do? We want to establish control. That's the first thing that we want to do, is take control of the conversation in the beginning part. How do we do that? How do we take control? By asking a question, right? But that question could be as simple as how are you? What is the, that's why I have the approach on the screen. If you guys can pull it up just so you can see. The question might be, are you at least 17 years old? Whatever the question might be. Oh, that's the question. So did Johnny mention I might be giving you a call? Or I'm actually going to be calling? Boom, I'm in control. Then you give a little bit of information, then you ask another question to gain control. So the point of the questions there are to gain control of the conversation, so that they don't take control over the combo. What do I mean by that? Here's what it sounds like if they take control. So if I was calling Jules, or if Jules is calling me and she says, hi, is this Mike? And I say, yes, this is Mike, who's this? She says, this is Jules. I say, well, Jules, what do you want? I'm now in control of the conversation as the caller. If the voice sounds either passive or weak or unsure or uncertain, just like a demo, it's the same thing. So that's why it's important to establish control in the beginning of the conversation, step one. Any questions, comments in step one?
Yeah, I have a comment. I think it's really important because if you just say, oh, I can make PR calls, I just read the script. Yeah, you just read the script for phone approach and it sets up, right? The customers just say yes if you read it, right? No, there's an art of voice inflection and connection and pausing. And so what's the number one way to get good, other than really following the script and growing yourself by watching videos, let's say? What's the number one way to get better at making appointments with customers? Make more calls. It's the same thing with PR calls. So we just spent, I don't know how many minutes Mike spent talking about the power of when you have control to set PRs. It's the most powerful program that we have. Yet some people won't make their first PR call till Thanksgiving or Halloween. How many of you here have already made PR calls? Boom.
Nice.
Boom. Pow. Boom, boom, pow. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, and on a side note, that's the number one. If you're going for an assistant manager, or if you're going to be an assistant manager next summer or whatnot, number one value you can bring to my district team or any other district team for that matter is being a good PR caller. 100% biggest asset.
Yeah, Mike, and what's the second thing they bring? We ask every week. Personal selling.
Yeah.
If you can personal sell and set PRs, you can be a great assistant, DOM, branch, district. You can do all of it. Thank you, sir. Well done. Keep going.
All right. So the second part of the approach, second objective that we want to hit is the connection. That's where we build rapport. Build rapport. The rapport is more important than the information. So we want to connect. How do we connect? This is so simple, but I think it's worth mentioning, is making it into a conversation versus like an interview.
Yep. And
I talked about this with my little rep. We talked about different ways to create conversation, because if you just say, if it sounds like this, so Zach, how do you know Amanda? Oh, school. What school? What are you studying? What do you like to do for fun? What's your favorite food? Okay, great. You sound like someone we want to work with. Let me set you up for an interview. It doesn't flow. It avoids the connection that we want to create, because that's the part of the approach. So here's the best way to give a conversation. All right, if you want to lead a conversation, ready? Give a little to get a little. Give a little to get a little. So having the same conversation, I give a little, I get a little more. So Zach, how do you know Amanda?
Oh, I play basketball.
Oh, basketball, cool. Well, what position? I know she was a point guard. I actually played basketball. She's so much better than me. I played basketball in high school. What position do you play?
Center.
Center. Okay, so you're I'll tell you. That means you're muscle guys up. Put them in place. Now you guys pretty tough. I like that. What do you go to school for? What is it that you want to study?
Basketball university.
Oh, so you want to go pro?
Yeah.
You want to go pro? Hey, I love that. Big dreams, big ambitions. Now, is that like the big dream, big ambition? Or is it like you have a backup plan too? Or
No,
so do you see what I mean by give a little, get a little?
You guys get that? Light bulb? Mike, that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Give a little, get a little. You don't want to overpower the conversation, but at the same time, you don't want to just ask questions where it feels awkward. So that's rapport. After rapport, after you establish this connection, the next part that I feel is making them feel special. what do I mean by make them feel special? Is that not every single person is like them. Meaning, the conversation sounds something like, hey, Gianna, I just want to let you know that we're taking a lot of applications and a lot of calls from like our ads on Craigslist and online, but I wanted to reach out to you personally because you got a high recommendation from your friend. I want to reach out to you personally because you saw the post on your friend's Snapchat and you know someone that works with us. So I wanted to give you priority scheduling over random applicants on Craigslist. Because you saw us on campus over at University of South Florida and we have a great relationship with a lot of the students that work there and they tend to do really well, I wanted to give you priority scheduling over the random applicants that just see us online. Does that make sense? So I want to make them feel special.
Mrs. Jones, Miss Cardenas said I should call you because she said you were super nice, really helpful, and didn't hate college kids. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Good.
Good. The next step is urgency. I want to create a level of urgency for them. I want to create a level of urgency. So we established control, we connected with them, we made them feel special, now I want to create urgency. Why right now is important. So I want to let them know something like, on a cut go down. I normally wouldn't ask this, Ms. Jones, but I'm in a huge contest. I need to hit 10 appointments by goal, right? You gotta create a level of urgency on a PR call. How do you do that without sounding desperate? This is important. You can't sound desperate. If you sound like the needy boyfriend or the needy girlfriend that's like, but I need to have a date with you. Like, if you don't understand, if I don't have a date for the prom, I'm gonna be an embarrassment. Can you please make sure you can be available to go out with me? Like, that doesn't work well. That's not what we're. Can you please set up an interview so I can hit my set number so that way I can go home and my manager is satisfied? Like that doesn't work, right? Maybe that cutesy stuff might work when you're maybe rep, but it doesn't work in this setting. So how do we create urgency? Hey, so if we had a role play, you have the script or whatever the heck the words are, but if it was to sound like, so Will, I normally. Does that so we want to interview you over other candidates? Does that make sense? Yes. Let me just use the script because I don't want to confuse you too much objective stuff. So perfect. Because you were personally recommended by Amanda, it actually gives you priority over other applicants. Maybe you respond. Does that make sense? So what I can do for you right now is I can just set up a time for you to sit down with my manager where you can check it out. He or she can cover the details of the position, answer any questions. So let me go ahead and why don't you walk me through your schedule for the next couple of days, just in general, to see what time we can make work. So how you can create a level of urgency there is through your voice. But here's one phrase that's not in there you can potentially add in is like, we're interviewing right now and our first applied, first considered. So I'd like to try to get you in as soon as possible. Is that in there? Oh, that's in there. Okay, perfect. So that's like after you get their schedule. That's like the urgency. The urgency that you want to create is like, listen, the positions are filling up, fairly quickly for this week that we're in right now. Because the holidays are coming up, you can say that because the summertime, because Memorial Day is coming up, and we want to add some people to our team right now for the holiday because it's a really busy time for us. We're taking applications this week. So why don't you walk me through your schedule for the next couple of days, just in general, so we can see if something can work out for us. Something like that. Create urgency. And then lastly is a positive send-off. The positive send-off is at the end of the approach is essentially like making them look forward to the interview. Have them look forward to the interview. What does that sound like? Hey, Nicole, it was really nice chat with you today. I'm glad we were able to connect. I'm looking forward to meeting you on day at a time. And by the way, when you come in, make sure you let Mr. Cordero know that you're friends with Tristan, just because, when he hears that, he knows that you're probably going to do a good job in the interview. You might be a good position if you really like Tristan, okay? Cool. We look forward to seeing you on day at a time. Good luck in the interview, by the way. That's a positive send-off.
Yep.
And you can see what the script says. Feel free to ask me when you come in. I'll help you get all set up, something like that. All right. So just to recap, the keys of the approach from my 15 years of experience with calling PRs: gain control of the conversation, connect with the caller, make them feel special, create a level of urgency, and then give them a little bit of a positive send-off to make them look forward to the interview. So let me just kind of come up for air, make sure that we're all feeling this. We're all making
Yeah.
sure
Can
that
I get some feedback from districts and next level on this? I know. And here's what I want you to know. It is supposed to be borderline or extremely overwhelming to get this the first time, the same way that when we threw you the blue book the first day of training, it's like, what is this? Same way. But we're always going to talk about this. There is not going to be a single meeting where you don't hear the word PR, efficiency, show, and lasagna. Like, for real. Okay? No, I'm serious. Maybe not. Okay, Kier, go ahead. Is that Kier? Kier, a little louder, por favor.
Can you hear me?
I can now. Go for it.
Okay, just some feedback I had is when I first started out, I realized that like I needed to make connections, but it seemed more interviewish than kind of friendly. But like Mike said, you have to kind of have that connection. So there's a fine line between being like a friendly friend, like, and also being a hiring manager, which I come to realize you kind of have to rein it in. Like, you want to make a connection, but you also want to create the urgency of I'm having you come in to interview for a position for my office type of thing. Also, you don't know if you don't ask about their, like, when it comes to scheduling, just like any customer. A lot of the time, either 18 to 20, whatever-year-old kids, so they're going to be saying, oh, I can't come in for an interview tomorrow, I'm super busy, when they probably just have a dentist appointment or they're meeting with their advisor or something like that. So they're probably thinking their whole day's blocked out because they have that one certain requirement. When if you really kind of just take the time and step by step walk with them their schedule, then you could definitely fit them into one of your like closest appointment interviews. And then also it is really, I found it's really important to if it is a PR that you're calling from one of the reps that you have, it's so important to mention, like, have you talked to Jackson? Yes, he's doing really well with us, whatever. But also, I've noticed that in a positive send-off, you could always say, if you have any questions, be sure to ask me when you come in. I know Jackson's super excited for you to come in, and you can talk with me and him, kind of like bringing in that PR as a type of kind of just make them feel comfortable and feel welcome, and not a little bit like sketched out, if that makes sense. Especially if it's a car that they haven't talked to in a long time, or maybe you just got it from like a top list, anything like that. So yeah.
I think that's really important because so much of what causes you to be a good PR caller to set up for interviews is the same thing that made you a great rep. That's why when someone says, I don't really want to sell because I just want to be a manager, it doesn't work like that. It's like, I don't really want to be fit, I just want to be a personal trainer. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So
I'd like to echo something that Kirsten said. It was really good.
Good. What did Kirsten say?
Kirsten, my bad. I mess it up every time.
I got you, Kier. No, go ahead.
My bad. Kier, that's good. That's helpful. Kirsten. Kirsten, what she said is the urgency. One additional phrase that I not even a phrase, but a mentality is, on a demo, you say, Ms. Jones, can you please fit me in for an appointment, right? On a PR call, you're not saying, hey, can you fit us in for an interview at this time? It's more like, okay, once you get their schedule, it's like, all right, cool. Actually, we can fit you in for an appointment at this time between this and this. Can you make that work? It's like, actually, we can fit you in at this time. Can you make that work? More so than, can you fit us in around your schedule? It's just the authority type of approach that we want to take. So I love that point that you made.
Go ahead.
Anyone else from NLG or?
Kirsten has one more thing to add, and then I have one more.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's really hard to hear her, like super duper hard. You guys speak super loud, like we can't hear her.
I'm like screaming at you guys over here. But can you hear me okay?
Jackson, put the computer closer to her, please.
Or she could come closer to the computer. But it's okay, just one point. But.
Yeah, just one point. All I was gonna say is, like I said, if you don't know, you don't ask. A lot of the times if you say, what are you doing in the next couple of days, they're thinking if they're scheduled the next couple of days. And they're not thinking about, I mean, if they're answering your phone call and having this 10, 15-minute conversation with you, what are they doing right now? What are they doing in the next couple of hours when the closest appointment is? Because I've noticed if you don't ask, oh, well, what are you doing right now? I know you've been here for couple of days. If you ask about that day, the next couple of hours when your closest interview is, more times than not, they are actually available. They're taking your call.
And your show percentage goes way higher if you schedule them for the next available interview too. So, you know, I love that. Don't be scared. Just ask, hey, I know you answered the phone right now. We have an appointment. Manager just had an opening in 90 minutes from now. I mean, if you're available, if you think you can drop by the office real quick for the next 90 minutes and fill out an application, you can manager it. Well, I love that. Absolutely. And your efficiency is way higher with that.
Yeah.
Especially on Monday rep-driven advanced training. You know, you're doing this at like 1:30 and there's usually like a 3:30, 4 o'clock type of interview. That's the perfect scenario where you can make something like that happen, just so you know. And you'll be the best PR caller in your office. I promise you. Who else? Any other next levels or districts or branches that want to add to the effectiveness of the approach itself? I want to talk a little bit about objections for just a moment.
Yeah, I have one comment. So we're going to drill for skill in just a bit. I'm going back and forth with Carlos right now. He's asking me how he should drill. Okay? Any idiot can read the approach to me, but that's not going to get a good score, right? I'll know if you practice this or not. I'll hear it. Just like you guys know this, if I gave someone the phone approach to call the Jeff Campbell magical 1997 phone approach to set up appointments with Mrs. Jones, you can just give it to a new rep and they read it, but they don't get the appointment. So, you know, how you handle objections and report, you know, this is masterful, but it's also so simple. What do you say? Masterful in its simplicity. David Vargas always loves this quote. It's just the beauty in its simplicity, if you will. Connect, make them feel special, create urgency, and then that's like it's how you start is really important. You ever have you ever have a call with a customer and it started rough? You're probably not going to get the appointment. But if you start on point and you have a good connection in the beginning, you have a shot. That's what Mike's saying. That's what handling objections is that he's going to cover is going to say. And this is to a manager what being able to set up appointments is to a rep. If someone said, I could give you a magical power and you'll be unbelievable at the phone or unbelievable at closing an average order, I pick the phone every time of the week, every time. Why? Because you'll have more appointments. And you can improve on the other stuff. If I'm really talented at running, and think of this, you could be super talented at running phone jams and managing people and inspiring and running training and PDI and Champions Club and Alliance and yeah, push. But if you have one rep, sorry, good luck. If you have 5 reps, sorry, good luck. If Julie has 20 on her team and this young lady, who is that girl? Oh my gosh, that's Nicole Rodriguez. She's got 30 in her team. I'm not with my 5 really awesome reps going to compete. You got to be good at PRs. Okay. Mike,
yeah.
Objections, please.
Yeah, absolutely. And to echo one thing,
yeah,
genuine is important. So what I encourage you to do is not put on the manager hat where you start sounding like a weird version of you. And sometimes you guys do that when I hear you making phone calls. You sound like this very weird version of you that takes away the genuine connection. And to start to pick on Will, but I'll use Will as an example. When he was a new PR caller at the beginning stage of summer, he puts on like this. He was putting on like this flamboyant, like high pitched, like weird. It was like almost like a weird, inauthentic voice that he wasn't even aware of until I recorded him and I was like, dude, what do you sound like a little weird. But then he became one of our strongest PR callers, if not the strongest PR caller by the end of the summertime, once he was able to see that awareness. So I think it's important for you to record yourself too and see it as like, this sounds weird, like inauthentic. Like this sounds like, doesn't sound like a real person, right? It sounds phony. So just something to keep in mind, and that when you're getting drilled on the phone, make sure you sound authentic. So as far as the objections, there's 4 steps, in my opinion, on how to handle an objection. And the 4 steps are: number 1, anyone from my crew remember what number 1 is? So before you compliment, you want to clarify. So I want to clarify that I'm answering the right question. So it sounds like this. So if he says, if I say the most common one you'll ever hear is, I already have another job, right? Hey, that's not necessarily an objection. It's just a question. It's an objection. So it's like, oh, okay, got it. Just so I hear you right. You already have another job, so you're not necessarily looking for something else in addition. I clarify, right? I want to clarify that I hear what they're saying first. If they say, well, what is the job? What did Johnny recommend me for? Oh, if it's not clear to you, then make sure it's clear of what they're saying. That's all. Now, if it's clear, if they're like direct, I have another job and I'm not looking for another one, you don't have to clarify. Then you compliment. You say, oh, that's a great concern. In fact, most people have that concern when I call them too. In fact, our best representatives have another job. That's probably why your friend recommended you. So you want to make them feel at ease. So if you need to clarify, clarify. But number 2 is to put them at ease. Put them at ease to let them know it's normal. Whatever they are asking you is normal. An easy way to do that is give them a compliment. Give them a compliment. Like if they ask a question, it's like, oh, that's a great question. If that's a great concern. In fact, I hear that concern all the time from students. Whatever that concern might be. Oh, I hear that all the time. That's a great concern. I hear that all the time. That's a great question. I hear that all the time. Totally cool. Totally natural. And then you answer. And then you answer. That's step 3. Answer, respond, whatever you need to say. And then number 4 is ask another question to gain control. So if needed, clarify. That's like the step 1, if needed. Step 2 is put them at ease / compliment if needed. Number 3 is respond or answer the way you wanted to answer. And number 4 is ask a question to gain control. Now the beautiful part is it's scripted for you. You can just read the script, but I want you to know whether your objectives of why you're saying what you're saying. So why you're going to say what the script said. The script says I already have another job. Great, script says that. What are your outcomes? What do you want to get accomplished? Okay, I want to make sure I put them at ease, make them feel comfortable, so that way they don't feel like I'm just attacking their objection. Because if someone feels attacked, then their guard goes up and they hang up the phone on you. That's anything, right? So you're gonna put them at ease. So if we had a role play, Tristan says, Tristan says the most popular one, I already have another job, right? Your sharpest kids are gonna have another job. Don't be surprised. Oh, you have another job? Okay, great. Bye. The people that don't have another job are the ones that are probably not as hireable in a lot of cases. The people that don't have another job, that's not the ideal market. We want the kids who have another job. We want the busy kids. Oh, you're really busy, you have a lot going on. Hey, that means you're probably a good recruit. So just something to keep in mind. So you want to offer the perspective. So what does that sound like? So we're a role play. So Tristan, you're at least 17 years old, right?
Yeah, I actually have another job.
Oh, cool. So just so you know, that's common. Actually, your friend told me that you already have another job. Yep, 100%. It's very common. A lot of our students that work with us already have another job as well. But the reason why they still are interested in checking us out is because we have flexible schedules that work around classes and the other job. We have some scholarship and internship opportunities, a resume booster, fun work environment. I just want to tell you a little bit more about it and see if it might be a win-win and maybe make sense for us to go over some more of the details. By the way, how do you know so-and-so? How do you know Johnny Rabbit?
Oh, actually, you guys going to go to classes.
Oh, cool. Okay, so you're over at USF, right? Yeah. Okay, excellent. Well, the name of the company is Vector, and we've been around since. So I don't know what the script says. You just read the script. What does it say there? It says it gives you the objection of what to say, but just making sure you're following, in my opinion, the outcomes. If you know the outcomes in the script, it becomes easier. So we're going to drill you on that in just a moment. Just read this, but keep the outcomes in mind. Make sure you clarify, put them at ease, answer the question, then gain control by asking another question before you go back into the approach. Comments, thoughts on that? Oh, by the way, here's my thought. If they say I have another job, what they're really saying is, why should I take on another job if I already have one? That's really the question. So you want to answer the right question. If they say, what is the job? They're asking a question, but what they're saying is, I don't have enough information yet. So look beyond the question. That's all I'm saying, is look beyond the question. You got to just kind of.
Mike, that's an awesome point. Ready? Mrs. Jones interrupts you. Well, how long does it take? And what are you showing? Oh, we're busy. Process that for a second. Oh, Danny, you're the. So how long does it take, sweetie, for this appointment? What do you say?
Like 30 minutes or so. Not too long.
Yeah, and what are you showing?
Cocoa, it's a highlight of kitchen color.
Beautiful, by the way, word for word, right? And if after you do that, they go, oh no, we're too busy. They were asking you 2 interest questions.
Yeah.
How long does it take? What are you showing? Oh no.
So what they're really asking in this question, a customer in that case, what they're really asking you is this going to be worth my time?
Yep.
That's what, like, is this worth my time to continue this conversation with this young person? That's what they're asking you. So that's why you want to sound fun and friendly and young and enthusiastic on the phone, so therefore they want to continue the conversation with you. And that's why we teach you to tell jokes. Like, how long does it take? Like 4 or 5 hours, Miss Jones will bring a sleeping bag just in case. Why do you say that? To make them want to continue the conversation with you. Just thought, this is advanced stuff. I know this is TLA. Maybe I should save some of this stuff for like later down the road, but I feel compelled to teach because I love to do that. But it may be a little to the top. So let's get back to some basic fundamental stuff as far as this goes.
Good.
All right. That's how you answer questions. That's how you do that. Let me just wrap up. Is that okay? So we can go into
go for it.
All right. So just kind of wrap up as far as the biggest keys that I would give you in order to execute this at a high level is just think with the end in mind. Okay? You want to think with the end in mind. What's the end in mind? The end in mind is to get them out of your office with a sample kit. That's the end in mind. So you want to keep that in mind as you're setting people up for these interviews. So as you're creating touches, you want to make sure you're creating the right touches, of course, right? So if you're putting an OCP, don't put it by a bus stop. And if you're trying to create the right PRs, you want to obviously go where they are. You just kind of keep that in mind. You want to keep the end in mind. Same thing with setting them up for interviews. You're not setting them up for an interview just because you want to hit your set number. If they sound like someone who's disrespectful or rude, it's not even worth the fight. Like, you're setting people up that you eventually want to launch out of training. So, but if they have a job and they sound pretty sharp, you want to fight for that type of recruit because you want to keep the end in mind.
I think that's sorry. I have to. Efficiency is what it's all about, right? You ever have a customer? Hello, who? What? Right? And they're just all rude and nasty. You can sometimes we like have that challenge. The game in us wants to just, oh, I'm gonna get an appointment with this lady. I got it. But you know, when you have like 10 in a row, you just know to move fast. Get to one where you even from the beginning. All right, I got a shot at this one. I think that's what Mike's saying because you'll get a lot of knucklehead college students. Hello. This is a job. Sorry, I'm too busy drinking right now. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like there are calls like that. Okay, you got these obnoxious knucklehead kids. Right? Oh, hey, cool, and be respectful. Don't give them any reason to say anything ill, and you move on. But then you have someone that sounds sharp. It's like, oh yeah, great. You know, kind of like they sound good, and that's the one you fight for. Because that's what Mike's saying. That's what Mike is saying, rather. Go ahead, Mike.
So keep that in mind. As far as when we want to sign, accept them, and launch, here's the ratio that you want to focus on. Set for interview to launch out of training, the region average is 11 to 1. So 11 to 1, you get 11 people set for an interview, 1 of them are going to launch out of training. So that's our region average, thousands and thousands of people set up for interviews. So you want to kind of keep that in mind, 11 to 1, and they're going to, on average, sell about $3,000 worth of Cutco. So if I'm a profitable, smart business owner, I'm going to make sure I maximize the right 11, however many I need to do. But if I want to get, let's say, if I'm running a business this summer, and if I can get, I'm just going to use easy numbers here, 100 people set up for interviews during the 11 weeks of recruiting, right? That's 1,100 people set up, just using easy math here, ready? 100 people set up, 11 weeks, that's 1,100 set. So that means I set 100 people a week at $3,000. That's a $300,000 summer that I created. Now I'm only one person, so I can't set up 100 PRs myself each week, but I could set up. And last summer, Mike Abramowitz, my biggest week that I had, I set up over 50 PRs in 1 week personally. That was my biggest. I did that 2 or 3 times. I had 2 or 3 weeks over 50 set up. So you probably, if you have nothing else going on in your business, you probably could set up 50 a week. But at least you could set up 25 or 30.
And what's the, oh my gosh, at least show up to the gym, damn it, number? 20.
I mean, you gotta get the 20.
If you don't get the 20, that's it. You didn't even bother to go to the gym. You didn't even bother to put your cleats on and walk onto the field.
So for 11 weeks, the peak weeks of recruiting, you know, if you're setting up, let's say 30, you're setting up 30 of the 1,100 or 30 of the 100 a week. So that means you got to figure out, okay, how do I get another 70 set up if I'm trying to have $300,000? So either bring on key staff members and teach them how to set up PRs, hire outside help. that can help you set up PRs. Get new reps that are sharp and have them set up PRs, like whatever you need to do. But if that's your number of 100 a week to create 300,000 in sales, and maybe it's lower, maybe it's higher. I'm just using easy math. But you now know the formula. Okay, I create the touches. I want to set 11 to 1 to get my results that I want to have for my launches. I know how much they sell, but I want to sound good setting them up for interviews. And that's essentially how much control we have over your business as a manager. So exciting. So exciting. If you're owning a restaurant, there's not as much control. If you're owning different types of business, there's not as much control as you have as a vector manager. And when you learn how to gain control over a business here in this playground of vector marketing, of setting people up for interviews and owning the recruiting process, you are legitimately a business owner and running and operating a profitable business, which is so exciting that you can either support or run as an assistant to race manager next summer, or 2019, 2020, 21. By the time you graduate college, you do this 2 or 3 times, you will be a 5-star recruit because you've mastered this process. And I challenge the next level group to master the process. Mastering the process is not like I know how to set up PRs. That's not mastering the process. Like I know how to canvas average. That's not mastery of the process. I'm talking mastery of the process where you can engage, teach, and enroll people to set up the other 70 while you set up 30 and enroll somebody to do the other 70 for you because you're so good at this. So that's the divisional prep TLA version of the power of value of PRs.
Awesome. Can we a couple snaps for Mike? Okay. Mike, that was actually more than I expected, so thank you. Not that I expected low, but you went above and beyond, so thank you. I just want to show a few things and we'll go to break, shall we? Pay attention to this. This is a Florida United Territory. I took out the territory name, doesn't matter. This is one of our territories, 4 different years. Same territory. This territory sold this past summer $13,000 with the Cutco as an office. Some of you personally sold more than this office did. By the way, that's not a snicker, ha-ha. That's a, wow, they had a hard time building the business. And that person, that branch is going to retrain it and look to improve business. It's awesome. It's going to be a 2nd or 3rd or 4th year branch. Who knows? Okay. But here's what's interesting about him or her. Okay. It's all related to PRs because that same territory the year before did 40. But that same territory the year before sold 241,000 and the year before sold 125. So clearly if the territory has not changed, what changed? Who changed rather? The person. And the person had the same system all 4 summers. So it was either work ethic or what? Application. So maybe one of those summers, one person had the application but didn't work that hard. The other summers they worked really hard but they didn't have the right application. It's the same territory. Okay? That's the first thing. And this is numbers are really compelling on this one. I'm going to send, and Lex is going to send pictures on this. This is Mike's example. Take a look on the board. 11 weeks. 11 weeks represent the peak weeks. If you want to be really conservative, it's 10 weeks. There are 10 weeks to recruit. And Lex, when I'm done, just take a picture.
Let me know.
There are 10 weeks to get a lot of recruits. When you're a branch, you only have 10 trainings, 8 to 10 trainings. Okay? You got to make the 10 weeks count. So if you only knew you had 18 days to sell a lot of Cutco, I don't know, AKA a push week, SC2, you create urgency. If someone says, oh, Julia, honey, can you just call us after 4th? Can you call us in August? Because we're, it's just kind of busy right now. You didn't say, sure. You said, Mrs. Jones, I'd love to call you in August, but I have this contest and I have 5 days left. I'm supposed to have 20 appointments, I only have 15. So you could really help me if you could squeeze, you create urgency. Work ethic and application. If you set your 20 to 30, Mike made this very clear. 20 is like showing up to the gym. You should, if you do it right, set 25 to 30 on your own around running an office, branch or assistant. That means 200 to 300 set per week. That doesn't include what we call recruiting assistants, aka receptionists. We're going to help you. Now, we'll have a whole section on how do you find a helper? How do you find someone who's a rep and make them a recruiting assistant? Or how do you put an ad on Facebook or social media and find someone to do this with you? Okay. If you're in a bigger office, that's easier. Julia Ortiz is right now one of the DOMs, and Lauren is the other DOM in Metro Miami. You guys are kind of set. Why? Because who's making all the calls in your office besides you? The other AMs, because Metro Miami had a gigantic summer, And there are a lot of people who are AMs. When you're a branch manager and you're a first-year branch manager, who are your AMs? You and you and you and you and you and you and you. You're the AM, you're the CEO, you're the CEO, everyone. So you have to hire and train help. We'll teach you that later in TLA. This is the part I want you to see. So this one you can't take a picture of, okay? So I'm gonna give you the benchmark metrics. This is equivalent to 60% closing ratio, $300 average order, and 10 to 12 recs per appointment. You guys have heard that before? It's right up on the board. That's like right here. 300 average order, 5 to 10 recs, 60% closing ratio. If you're below that, what should you do? Fix something, get help, do something different. Right? If I told you you are only selling half the time for $150 and you get 1 rec per appointment, what's your reaction? Right? If I told you you sell 9 times out of 10, your average order is $1,200 and you get 25 recs every appointment. It's the but good. Okay? What I want to show you is the number. Okay? Don't do that. Sorry.
That's making me sick.
So you got light bulb on that territory that I showed you?
Yes.
Okay. And ready? Next year that territory might do 400. It might do 1,000. Depends on PRs. Watch. Any manager that set 400 as a staff on their own. Okay, this includes them plus any staff. So just on this, how many should a manager by themselves alone set up for the summer? Just by themselves. 200 to 300 during the peak weeks. Okay. This is that plus whatever help they get. Anyone that got over 400 PR set, watch the number. They sold an average of $84,000 in their branch as an average. Some went way higher, some went way lower, but that was the average. By the way, this is equal to the average of the biggest branch class in the history of the region, which was last summer when Andrew won the Silver Cup and we had lots of branch success. Okay, follow me so far? If an office didn't get over 400, anyone want to guess the average? Not next level? Higher or lower? Higher or lower?
Lower.
Lower, ready? Their office only had $38,000 on average. There are 20 reps there are 20 plus reps in Florida United who sold more than the average branch that didn't. There are 15 or reps or more in Florida United who personally sold more than an office that didn't get 400 set.
Wow.
Okay. So on a weekly basis, I'm gonna put a star here. Your office really has to be getting 40 set at a bare minimum. That's like selling $1,000 for the week. You get in the newsletter. Really, this is doing the job for a manager. If you don't do this, I don't know what to tell you. You get 20 minimum, like low end, like show up to the gym, and you get a receptionist or a rep you turn into a receptionist, or whatever we want to recruit. It doesn't matter what we call them. Someone else to help get another 20 for your 40. And this is the last thing I want to share. Take a picture, and we're going to go to a break before we do drill for skill. Okay. So here are the benchmarks. This might be the most important thing. So Alexa, picture of this.
Okay, got it.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Last thing, watch. So benchmarks. I just covered this with the next level. When I say ready, oh hell no! What do you think of? I think of an angry black man. I think of Kevin Hart. Right? I think of a movie where Kevin Hart's in front of a really tall, gorgeous girl, his wife probably, who's double his height, and says something about, have you seen him? Right? And says something about his mama. And talks about how short he is. Well, your mama is this, and you're short. Oh hell no! Hold me, like, and he probably uses the B word. Hold me back, hold me back. That's what I think when I think of oh hell no. Oh hell no is what happens when someone disrespects your mom or your friend. You say oh hell no. Okay? There is a point when someone says something. It doesn't matter who you are, how you're raised. You oh hell no. You guys feel me on that? Okay. Someone were to say anything about you, I get a no hell no reaction. There are times in your business, like if you're for the week and Andrew is at the countdown in Metro Miami, he says, all right, Spartans, let's raise your hand. Anyone that sold at least $100 for the week, stand up. If you're sitting down, you need to go, oh, hell no, what the hell am I doing? I mean, you didn't sell $100 in 7 days. Now, the number should be higher, but I'm saying, you guys understand my analogy here? So here's what I'm saying. There are numbers in our business where if it goes below that number, there needs to be an, oh, hell no. There needs to be a, well, the schedule didn't have me working here to do this, but oh, hell no, my number's so low, I need to do something now. Oh, hell no means, I forgot many examples of, I don't have any people to call and I don't have enough people on my team. So I know I'm supposed to go home, but it's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna take these yellow OCP signs and go all around Midtown Wynwood, or I'm gonna go all around my territory and put these signs and posters up so I can get some touches. That's oh hell no. You guys feel me? So watch, and you control that. Here are the oh hell no numbers, and we'll take. You can write these down, and we'll get a picture of it. 40 set per week. This is PR benchmarks. 40 set per week for the fire number. That's you. Okay. 400 per week for the whole staff. That's you plus the staff. That's all. 400. Yeah, 400. Sorry, 400 for the summer. Sorry, 400 per week and 400 for the summer. I'd love 400 per week. Get it. Get you some. Get you some. Okay. Later on, we'll talk about there's a set for training number, which should be like 50. It should be like 20 in the summer, and there's a sales number which should be like $5,000 to $7,000 minimum. Anything below that it is oh hell no. I was gonna go out to that party. Oh hell no! I need to work. It's, it's just one of the. It's like you have to have standards. You have rules. I think I'll end with this. Someone said this earlier about, I think it was Ed Milet. You will only operate at the bare minimum that your standards carry yourself to. Whatever your minimum standards are in your life, you'll never go. Like you will operate at that level or higher. So gotta have standards. Now you can do a picture.
Change to the summer.
What's that?
400 a week is a little confusing.
Okay. Do me a favor. I want you to write down your biggest light bulbs. Take 30 seconds. Biggest light bulbs. We're gonna go to break. Light bulb it is. Yes. Is that Jackson? Sounds like Jackson.
It was not Jackson.
Electrician?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. 20 seconds. Write down your biggest light bulbs. Mila, are you writing down your light bulbs?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So we're gonna take a shortened break. So I'd like to get out a little earlier if we can. So we're gonna take a 10-minute break in about a minute. It'll be 5:14. Okay, so we'll take a 10-minute break. We're gonna come back. Andrew's gonna cover how to start a business. Then we're gonna go directly into drill for skill. And keep in mind, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna call 2 or 3 or 4, maybe 5 random people, and you're gonna come up and do your drill for skill for matrix points. Okay. As I call you up, if you have absolutely no idea what's going on, then you're just going to stand up in front of people for 2 minutes. That's not on me, okay? I have no problem doing that. So if you're not willing to put the work in, I'm not willing to show mercy and pass you on embarrassment, because you got to put the work in, okay? Then, for sake of time, we'll split off into groups. Tallahassee, I believe, is going to split off into 2 groups or maybe 1. Mike and Carlos, you can choose whether to do 2 groups or keep it 1. And we'll split up into multiple groups because we have a ton of people here. We'll do the matrix score. Then we'll wrap up with Karina on the interview. I'll give you some thoughts on how to set up our financial discussion for next prep. And then we'll wrap up with advanced planning, and then we will adjourn for the evening, okay? What I'd like you to do in the next 10 minutes, it's actually now 5:14, so we'll reconvene. We need to start in 10 minutes. So whatever you gotta do, find someone, share your biggest light bulbs. If you talk to a next level member, I want you to ask them biggest keys and tips on the PR program. Okay, make sure you stand up, get some stretch. 10 minutes. Thanks, everyone.
Hey, Danny, do that.